Peter, you're 12 years old, I'm 10. They have a word for people our age. They call us children, and they treat us like mice. This is a line from the book Ender's Game by the Mormon author Orson Scott Card, which is being turned into a movie, which has been turned into a movie and comes out this weekend. The book tells the story of a young boy, Ender, whose identity is consciously shaped by those around him from at least the age of 6. As a youth, he is trained to see the world around him as a game, with other human beings as the playing pieces. Brought up on war games, he eventually learns that the war games are not games at all, but that his youthful speed and ability are what are being used in a real war with real lives at stake. What makes Ender's Game such a compelling book is that it goes into the thoughts of Ender and shows how he uses his intelligence and his wit to affect the world around him, even though he is so young. From the moment of birth, or according to Midrash, from even before, Jacob and Esau are pitted against one another in a playful rivalry with lives on the line. We are introduced to them with their mother's life on the line. According to the Midrash, it was only Jacob's willingness to give up on exiting the womb first, and thus obtaining the position as the firstborn child, which saved his mother's life. From the moment of birth, Esau becomes an archetype for one view of what is manly, a man who knows how to hunt, a man of the wild fields. Jacob is a man who likes to stay around tents, to be proper. Esau is loved by his father because he knows the fastest way to a man's heart is through a big, hearty steak. But it is Jacob who is loved by his mother, Rebekah. The stories we tell of Jacob and Esau are stories of children at play, of children fighting. But we know, in reality, these are not stories about children, but about an adult world that forces these children into certain roles, and eventually into the roles of Edom and Israel. Their actions: Esau is marrying out of the family. Mom, her name was Judith. I met her at a Hillel mixer. How should I have known? Puts these characters into a focus on adult themes, but are told through child's play. We know that the play of children is very serious. Talking to young children to give them vocabulary, putting in firm boundaries around safety, yet allowing them to learn from their mistakes are all parts of parenting and grandparenting. And children learn from the culture that they're born into. One of the things that has changed and evolved in our Jewish culture are visions of what it means to be a man and what is not as manly. It is up to us to teach our children that there can be more than one definition of what it means to be a real man. That being a real man can include singing, tap dancing, and serious study. Jacob in our text most probably throws like a girl. He may even scream like a girl. And we know that when he grows up, he isn't hairy like a real man. But there's no question that the Torah and the rabbis thought that Jacob was the real man, the person from whom the people of Israel would spring forth. There's a famous scene in our Torah portion when Isaac feels the pelt-covered Jacob, who at the insistence of his mother is trying to act like Esau, read beautifully today. Upon feeling the pelt covering Jacob, Isaac says, Hakol kol Yaakov, v'hayadayim yedei Esav, that the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands, these are the hands of Esau. What characterizes Jacob is voice, prayer, learning, action, prayer, learning, and teaching, This to the rabbis is how a Jew acts. We leave it to the other nations to use their arms and their hands, to use violence as a mean of interacting with the world. The Midrash on this verse literally portrays us as using pens, quills, as weapons when we're set upon by B'nai Esau's sword-bearing arms. Yet we do also have in Judaism something that values the idea of Esau as masculinity. The Maccabee revolt, the Bar Kokhba rebellion, and the Zionist ideal of a new Jew leaves the quills behind in Eastern Europe and creates in Israel a Jewish army, or in North America, Jewish day school football teams, reclaiming the view that Esau can be manliness in Judaism. Reform Judaism stands at a bit of a crossroads. We are Zionists and feel that we should be fit enough to protect our Jewish homeland, but we also hope and prepare for peace. Our synagogue system values the rabbinic model. Our religious school is a school of prayer and study. Our students who become B'nai Mitzvah in front of our congregation use their voices to read and to chant. But there are calls for floor hockey and basketball teams in our building. Does this make us a JCC, or can we introduce Esau without sacrificing what it means to be a rabbinic Jew? In Canadian Reform Judaism today, with the pressure on our boys to grow up and be like Esau from the outside world, can we hold on to the rabbinic Jacob, reinforce that the voice is important, that study and learning are important, and say that Jacob is manly? In Canadian Reform Judaism today, with the pressure to excel in school, can we also celebrate our children who learn best through bodily motion and through action, and say that this too can be Jewish? And for us today and every day, we must remember that it is too easy to be the Rebekah who loved Jacob for dwelling in tents, or the Isaac who loved Esau for roaming the wild fields. While we do not know what the actions of our children will bear in the future, we do know that their actions do hold weight into the future, and that, God willing, generations of our family will treat them as with honor whatever path they choose as they become adults. As Orson Scott Card writes, "Never in my entire childhood did I feel like a child. I felt like a person all along, the same person that I am today." And so as we raise our children and value manliness, know that our culture does influence our children, and it is a choice for us to say that our children will be like Esau, or our children will be like Jacob, or that we will value each of our children for the gifts that they bring into our world. May there be a time like Eden again, when we can imagine the sparks of holiness in all of God's children when they were shining bright, and when we let each of our children shine, each in their own way. And with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.